eyes locked as she soared towards him, and she was struck with a strong sense that she'd seen him somewhere before. She watched in surprise as his mouth fell open in shock. She flew past him, confused by his look, unless he recognized her too? Suddenly, she noticed in horror that her strapless dress had slid down and her breasts had been completely on display, flashing the poor guy as she'd cycled past. She tried to drag her dress back up, pedalling away as fast as she could, but the dress was caught in the cogs on the back wheel, pulling it further down her belly. As she carried on pedaling, the bike slowed with the resistance of the dress. She gave the dress one more tug to try to free it and toppled off the bike onto the soft grass on the side of the road. She swore softly as she struggled to extract herself from the bike, her cheeks burning with embarrassment. She prayed the man hadn't spotted her fall and had carried on his way. She absolutely didn't need him to come and help her when her breasts were still hanging out. The dress was stuck fast in the bike, and no amount of wiggling around was freeing it. Suddenly, the large English setter that had been with the man came bounding up to her, shoving his face in hers, his floppy jowls wet as he sniffed her, his tail wagging excitedly. Despite her predicament, she couldn't help but laugh as she stroked his large head.
"Dexter, come away, you big lump,"
came a deep male voice from behind the dog, although Dexter did no such thing. The next thing, the dog was heaved away, and the man she'd seen on the corner was standing there. He saw her state of undress and looked away.
"You all right? Do you need some help?"
Lyra desperately tried to hide her breasts, tugging fruitlessly on her dress. "Yeah, I think only my pride has been hurt. I definitely don't need any help." She couldn't think of anything worse. To her complete surprise, the man tugged off his t-shirt, revealing impressively toned abs and strong arms. It left Lyra almost speechless, which even she had to acknowledge was a rarity. She wondered if he was trying to make her feel better by being topless too, although his gorgeous body did nothing to make her feel better about the part of her body currently on display.
"Here, put this on, and then see if you can wiggle out of your dress, and I can try to remove it from the bike. It looks like it's caught up pretty bad,"
the man said, still looking away from her. His voice was familiar too. It had a beautiful lilt to it, suggesting he was from somewhere else in the world, somewhere exotic, no doubt, but she knew she'd heard it somewhere before. "Thank you." Lyra took the t-shirt, hoping somehow the ground could swallow her up. With a great deal of effort, she managed to pull the t-shirt over herself, covering her modesty. But the dress was caught up so badly, wrapped tightly around her hips, there was no way she could get out of it. She tugged and flailed around while the man looked everywhere but at her. Finally, she gave up. "I might need some help." She saw his lips twitch into a smirk. He was definitely enjoying her discomfort. He glanced at her, and, seeing she was covered, he knelt down as Dexter continued to sniff around her, obviously wondering if he could help too.
"To be clear," the man said, "you want me to take your dress off?"
Amusement danced in his eyes, and it struck her then that if it hadn't been the case that right now she wanted to run away from him and die of embarrassment at the very first opportunity, he would have been the kind of man she'd like to get to know better. As it was, she'd be quite happy if she never saw him ever again. "Yes, I'd like you to take my dress off, but no peeking." He held up his hand in a Boy Scout salute.
"I wouldn't dream of it. Although I have to say, I normally take a woman out for dinner before it gets this far."
She couldn't help smiling.
"I'm Nix Sanchez, by the way. I feel like we should at least be on first-name terms before I start taking your clothes off."
"Nix." She let the name roll around her tongue for a moment. Surely she would remember a name as unique as that. "Lyra Thomas." He offered out his hand and she shook it. His hand felt warm to the touch. He turned his attention to her dress, cleared his throat awkwardly, and then started to tug it over her hips, but it was wrapped around her so tightly there was no give at all. In fact, the material was starting to dig into her flesh. Nix frowned, all humour fading from his eyes.
"I'm hurting you."
Lyra winced. "A little, but it's okay. Just get it off."
"I'm gonna have to cut it."
To her